I wanted to make a video today about using all those beautiful scrumptious purples that we made in an actual painting, and I thought the best way to do that was to do a really beautiful sort of cloudscape landscape. So I'm just going to tape down some paper using masking tape. I often will use, that's not even, and it just doesn't matter to me. I often will use washi tape. I think sometimes there can be a difficulty in releasing this tape or seepage underneath masking tape, so I prefer washi tape. This is what I had around me when I thought of doing this video, and I imagine that most people have some masking tape in their house from an old painting project, so I figured this is probably what you have on hand. But if you do have washi, use washi. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say washi tape, because it's not new. Well, this is kind of an example, but it's just printed tape. It's generally a little bit translucent, and it has a design on it, and you can use it because it releases easily. Now that I've got it taped down, I'm just running my finger along again because I sometimes get seepage of the color underneath the tape. So now that I've prepped, I'm going to use sort of a loosey-goosey kind of brush. This is the number 6 script Princeton Neptune. A script just means that in this case it's got longer bristles than a regular number 6. Actually, that one barely has longer bristles. Let's see if I can find... There. So this is a regular 6 round, and this is a script or a liner or a rigger, whatever you want to call it. For landscapes and cloudscapes in general, I like to have brushes that give me less control. Oop. I'm going to bring my water over here. And I'm not even going to bother worrying about the fact that this is already dirty, because we're going to have just a really nice loose landscape today. So just adding some water there, and the first thing I'm going to do is mix up a purple or a violet color from one of the beautiful mixes that we had tried out. So this is not the exact same color. This is a Terra Rosa by M. Graham, but it is a PR 101, so it's similar to the Indian Red that we enjoyed. And I'm going to grab a Daniel Smith Ultramarine Blue. There's a little bit of separation there between the binder and the pigment. I just thought that this mixture basically painted itself. It was really beautiful and unusual. Getting some bubbling, that's okay. Okay, so I've got the mixture that I'm going to use, and I'm going to start. Typically, I will start at the top and work down. So I'm going to start with just clean water. My brush has already got junk on it, and that's cool. I like it. Texture. You can see what a really beautiful, vibrant mixture that creates. And the key with doing a cloudscape is moving quickly and varying the ratio of pigment to water. So you'll see I'm cleaning my brush and then adding almost completely clear water, and then I'll go back and I'll dip in and I'll use some more of our pre-mixed pigment, clean that off, and kind of add some clean water. I've got a few gaps here, that's okay. And let's put a little bit more pigment in there. Now, as I get down towards what's going to be my horizon line, my motions are going to get a little bit tinier because those clouds are the furthest away from us, and so they're actually smaller than the ones up near the top. So I'm just doing smaller movements here, and I'll drop in some more clean water. Okay, so that really looks unusual and dramatic, and that mixture just kind of paints itself. There's not much that I can do to guide it. It just is going to be beautiful on its own. Now what I'd like to do is take a completely different purple. This is a pre-mixed purple, so we're going to see the difference here. In this case, I'm using Daniel Smith Cobalt Blue Violet, and I'm going to change dramatically the way that I use the brush. This is going to be our distant mountain line, and all that I'm going to do is just using the side of my brush create that mountain range. The cool mountains in the distance. There's a little bit of dry brush happening. That's okay. Okay. Clean out my brush really well. So you can see that's just a much cleaner, bluer purple. And I think the last thing that I will do is a mixture of black and purple. This is called Daniel Smith Lunar Violet, and it's going to give us a lot of texture on the ground. I'm using it direct to start with, and this is just going to be to contrast our hills in the distance. The cool thing about this particular paint is that it granulates a ton as it dries. So it looks like a black, but it's going to granulate out to a violet. Okay. So I just did a graduated wash. I started with the deepest, darkest value and added water until I got it lighter and lighter. And I think I'm going to do one more thing here just to add a little bit of interest. I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to load it up heavily, quite heavily, and then I'm going to take another brush and I'm going to tap. I'm going to get the same angle as the direction that I'm tapping in, so I'm going to vary. Okay. And I think I will also tap some of that violet in so that it's not such a strong line here. Again, tap. You do not have to do it rhythmically. Okay. And now I'm just going to let it dry and see what happens. This is how experiments and play and taking some of what you've learned and applying it to a painting, seeing how it works out. This is all part of the creative process of working out how watercolors are best used in your own paintings, in your own creative practice. And I think when we do these experiments, like using only purple, mixing a mixture that we've tried before, and seeing how it works in a real life application, like trying to paint a sky, and then also varying the different techniques that we're using with the same brush and the same materials. All of these different things are coming together and really informing us so that when we move forward as painters, we have all of that in mind as we are painting. So the next time I go to paint a sky, I'm going to remember how I did this one, pick what I liked, and leave the rest. And that's part of my development and your development as an artist. I hope you found this interesting and have a wonderful day playing with your own paints.